This next fight has me really, really excited. It's because it's one of those fights where, for me, we always talk about that pocket. I enjoy a lot of fights where inside that pocket, so much can happen. And CJ Vergara and Kleydson Rodrigues are going to show you just that. Kleydson comes out of that Nogueira camp where he has that good background in BJJ, but his stand-up game is really fun to watch. I think that there's an ounce of, God-given talent there, but there's also a lot of work put in. You can see the way he stands, the way he switches, the way he looks for his strikes. Very pinpoint, very clean. There's a lot of fighters we've seen like that in the past, and it gives you one of those edge-of-your-seat style of fights. And I think in this one, the reason why I love this fight so much is when you look at CJ Vergara and the debut he had against Ode Osbourne, he really, really put himself on the map, in my opinion. You talk about Ode, how that was supposed to be a fight where they wanted him to get back on his winning ways. He's exciting and he's fast. It's a good fight to kind of sell him on. But after a first round of dealing with Ode, I thought CJ Vergara brought a very fundamental and classic style of fighting that you love to see in MMA. When a guy's got his back against the wall like that, I don't care what people find boring. MMA is pretty much a fight for your life. And when we're judging boring fights, it just goes to show how an opinion from the seats can really matter or not matter, if you will. And for me in that fight, I thought CJ Vergara did such a fantastic job of walking through that distance striking of Ode, find the clinch work, his knees, his elbows, all of that body work was so clean, which helped him get to a point where Ode was tired. Ode couldn't get up from the ground. CJ was on him and was not letting him go anywhere. Good ground and pound, good work from his guard. And when you think about it, that last round, 100% in my opinion, goes to CJ Vergara. So in all honesty, at 29-28, potentially, if that's how you see the fight, it's just really funny that in those fights where a guy is supposed to go in and most likely lose in a big way, he ends up coming out looking pretty good despite a loss. And then that's where, for me, CJ Vergara, in this fight specifically, if he's able to walk through some of those punches, if he's able to deal with some of that flurrying that happens in the early parts of the fight, I would love to see how well he does in the second and third rounds, because for me, as he starts to see his opponent's power and pressure and energy dissipate, it seems like he pushes forward. So he's got the gas tank for that. And that's what makes me really excited for this fight is you have to wonder, can the distance striker stay at a distance for all 3 rounds, pinpoint accuracy, big shots, maybe get himself, a couple rocks and a couple knockdowns in the process. When you visualize this fight, it's like Kleydson on the outside constantly picking his opponent apart. CJ Vergara looks like he's got a pretty good chin and can last. And then you have the opposite side where it's like, if he gets past the first round, can CJ Vergara do the same thing and surprise everyone by getting, Kleydson to the ground, using some ground and pound, avoiding those, big BJJ opportunities for Kleydson from his back. That's what I'm curious to see in this fight, and I have a feeling that the line's going to be a lot bigger than I think it should be, but I will give Rodrigues that Vegas bump of a -190 to -200. I think the line makes sense here, but CJ Vergara is a very live dog if this fight goes 3 rounds, in my opinion. I think that he might be able to eke out a decision in that second and third round based on how we've seen him point fight in the past, but again, Kleidson's got elite level looking striking. He's got some pretty good footwork to go with it. And that's where I'm very curious to see if CJ's even able to enter that realm of getting in that boxing range, use his body shots to tire him out, look for some level changes to mix things up a bit, and see if he can pull off that big victory. So, like I said, Rodrigues -190 to -200 makes the most sense to me. But I think CJ's got a small chance there, a small window to make things happen. So let's take a look. All right, so not only did Kleydson open as a -280, but this line is moving in the opposite direction. So we've got -310 in some places. He's already hit -300 across the board. CJ Vergara coming as a +210 dog. Now you can get him as high as a +250 underdog in some areas. And I really think that this is one of those ones where Kleidson's going to have all the bump. That's probably the pick for us here as well. But in the areas where CJ can do well, I think it's a good opportunity for him to showcase his skills once again in that second and third round and maybe make this a much closer fight than people think. I'm really excited for it because matchups and styles like this always make me overthink things, and I really enjoy watching the chess game play out.